And today we have this really cool project. It's an exterior project in this backyard. I'm going to show you. There's a lot of very interesting stuff. And the goal with it was to create something modern, but also to create something that was easy to maintain, good for the 3 generations of the family in this particular home. So there's the grandparents, the children, and the grandchildren. So it's a space for all of them. We came across some real concerning issues on this project, and fortunately, we were able to deal with them because they could have sent the family and their friends to the hospital. Plus, I'm going to show you this super cool in-ground trampoline. Hi, my name is Dean Mitchell, and I want to welcome you to my new channel called Dreaming with Dean. We're going to explore some really cool projects, both renovations and new builds, and see what it takes to have a truly successful project. And along the journey, we're going to interview builders, we're going to interview designers, architects, owners, and we're going to learn about what it takes to have a dream that you have in your mind and how to take that dream all the way to completion. That dream started with them during COVID. And they found they were stuck in the house all the time. You know, during that time, everybody's like, well, let's get outside. And the backyard was not conducive to spending time outside. The grass was very soft and mushy and super moist. And we're in a climate where there's a lot of moisture around here and rain. So we had to deal with that. So come and join me. You know, one of the biggest motivators for this couple was the grandkids. They wanted a place for the grandkids to come and spend time with. So we created this area for that exact purpose, a reason for the grandkids to want to come over. So as you can see, we put a concrete curb all the way around this play structure. And oftentimes, you know, people's concern about mulch like this is that it's just going to get everywhere and just make a mess of the yard. So we actually, as you can see on the edge here, we lowered the mulch. So there's about maybe 3 to 4 inches of mulch that's below the curb. And that way, when they kick the mulch, it's not going to get out and onto the grass and make a huge mess. And so this is a real, you know, simple play structure, but it's got all the components. It's got a slide, some climbing stuff, it's got some swings. So it's super cool for the grandkids. Let me show you some other stuff. So one massive issue that we had with this yard, and we knew it from the beginning, was drainage. Everywhere when you walked in this yard, it was just super soggy and wet. And around here, there's lots of rain and moisture. So we wanted to deal with that so that you could actually use this grass all year long. And so we have drainage running. There's, I think, several pipes running, one along here, one underneath me right here, and then another one there, and then another one at the back of the property there. And they all connect underneath here and then run this direction here. So we had to dig trenches down like 3-4 feet deep, in some areas even 5 feet underneath this decking area here. And we got trenches with gravel and sand and rock, with fabric over top of it as well too. And so all of this is just to drain the yard. And it's quite an expense in doing that, but at least you have a dry yard. And here we have this beautiful sitting area with this fire pit right in the middle. And what I'm sitting on here is a bench with this architectural grade concrete and these really cool lights inside the edges here. So you could sit here all day, all night long if you want. And this is great for kids when they're young, and also when they grow up too, they can have all their friends over here, roast marshmallows and hot dogs. It could get a little messy, but that's what kids are about. So a great spot for large gatherings. And here we have another wonderful spot for the adults. We've got this beautiful water feature that creates that nice ambience. And then over on this side, we have a hot tub. This couple decided to choose a hot tub like this that was a prefabricated hot tub. And we actually built this deck around it, sunk the hot tub down in the ground. And the main reason for that is they can access the hot tub on the side underneath the deck if they ever have to maintain it for any reason. And if there's a real issue with it and they need to replace it, they could just lift that hot tub out and drop a new hot tub in as well. But again, this is a great spot for children, whether they're young or they're old. They can have their friends over, hang out all year long, cold or hot, they can hang out in this wonderful hot tub. Coming up, I'm going to show you a few very interesting things, including that in-ground trampoline. I'll show you what it took to make that happen, as well as one thing that we encountered that we did not expect. And to be honest with you, it could have been fatal for the family and their friends. Here we have this really beautiful custom water feature with architectural concrete. As you can see here, we got a stainless steel weir for the longevity, so that should last for many years. And then down below here, at the bottom of the water feature, you have these beautiful blue and white mosaic tiles. And on the other side of this hot tub is where we actually placed the pump and the filtration system. Let me show you that. It's pretty cool. So here we have the mechanical system to control that wonderful water feature over here. We didn't cheap out here. We got this massive pump and then a chlorine dispenser to prevent any algae and stuff from growing in it. And then we got a diverter valve to control the whole system, and then also a sand filter to keep the water clean. So all this keeps that water feature looking good all the time and running. And then here we have this beam that can be removed, and then this panel comes off so we can access all the mechanical stuff for this wonderful hot tub. The spa that they selected, it's called the Bullfrog Spas. And they're really cool designs. They have a number of different lines of products. But the interesting thing about this hot tub is that they have minimal hoses in behind. So you have less chances of leaks taking place. So on the back side of it, they have like basically one large hose that runs to like a 4-pack of jets there. And some of the other lines, they actually have these removable packs. So they have one big hose that runs to that pack. And if you ever want to, you can actually switch the jet pack. So you can take a jet pack from here and move it over to there. So here we are. This issue that I told you about, it could have been catastrophic for the family. There was 3 posts, and we found out in this process that they were completely rotten at the bottom. And the only thing that was holding up was a stucco around the post. And the reason for that is water would just run off this deck, drop down, and it would hit the bottom of the post, and it just saturated the post over time. One of the things we did here was install this gutter to stop the water from dripping off the deck and hitting the posts. And you can imagine they had one too many people on this deck, the whole thing could have collapsed. It could have been a complete nightmare for the family. And so what we did in this case is we put up a temporary post underneath these beams, and we removed these posts, and in this particular one and that one over there, we ended up putting treated wood in place of what was there, and then re-stucco it around the post. And over on this side, we ended up pouring concrete all the way around the bottom of the fireplace to raise that post up. And then of course we put tile around it as well too. And doing all this made it structurally sound so the family doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Here in this climate, we get a lot of rain, and often it's quite a bit cooler than some other places that you all might live. And so we really wanted to create this space that you could use all year long. And you don't want to just create something like this and just use it for a few months of the year. You really want to use it as much as you possibly can. So we utilized this existing deck that this client had, and we built this really cool seating area with this beautiful fireplace. So even when it gets cold out, there's this really neat fireplace that throws off quite a bit of heat, and it looks super cool. So one really cool feature about this backyard is this built-in trampoline. It's sunken in the ground. We had to dig down about 4 feet deep, and we had to put a drain in at the bottom of this because we know this backyard has had issues with drainage. So let's try it out. While filming this video, I saw my family, sat down and had dinner with them. And my wife, she said, "Dean, you look like a lobster. Look at your head, it's like red." And all the family started to laugh. And one of my daughters, the comedian in the family, she said, "Dad, maybe you should make a video about how to apply sunscreen, because you look pretty red." All kidding aside, I would love for you all to join me on this journey. Please subscribe, and also stay tuned for new videos about interesting projects. And again, if you have a project that's interesting, it might be a big project, huge project, or it might even be something that's really intriguing and interesting. If you can actually live in the space, I would love to learn about it, whether it might be an RV or a yacht or a house. And maybe you want to like build a house on the side of a mountain, or you might want to actually build a house on an island. I would love to learn about it and hear about it from you. Maybe even create a video. But please subscribe and stay tuned for more. What do you think? 10 out of 10?